Welcome, Fitness Forward to J Talk. We got Joshy Boy and Johnny Boy here.
What's
How
going
we
on?
doing?
What's going on, people?
Joshy Boy and I, we're going to be talking about stretching, recovering, how to recover after a tough week. Maybe you're tight in certain areas, maybe you're sore,
Mm.
what we do, what we suggest people do, basic stuff like that.
Yeah, I feel recovery is just as important. It's equally as important as what you're doing in the gym. I remember years ago, one of my mentors told me that for every hour that you spend in the gym, you need to at least match it or get close to the recovery for that. So if you're spending an hour in the gym, you need an hour of recovery also. So recovery can come in a lot of different forms. Recovery can be maybe you're doing a 15-minute warm up. That's considered recovery because you're prepping yourself for your workout and you're also working on some things from your past workout. Like if you ever feel like you come into the gym, like, oh, my hips are tight, my back feels kind of tight, and you warm up a little bit so you can, be a beast in that next session, that's considered part of your recovery. Let's just say after your workout, you do like a 10-minute jog or something like that. That could be considered recovery, or foam rolling and doing a little bit more stretching. That's recovery. So anything that you do throughout your workout, like before and after, and then some stuff you're doing, maybe later in the day, if you do some stretches or foam rolling, that is considered part of your recovery too. So we're just going to talk about a few things that you can apply so you know exactly how you should be or what you should be targeting for your recovery and different implements that you can use.
I say we go over real quick, like a couple of the stuff that we don't usually think about recovery, like sleep.
Mhm.
like
Oh,
staying hydrated. Let's just touch on that real quick. I mean, sleep is important. Especially during this last quarantine, I've been getting 8 hours of sleep like
mm,
every day, opposed to my normal 5, 6 hours. And wow, I feel way better. And my body is just it feels like it's getting more recovery. Like when you sleep, your body rebuilds. That's
yeah.
the rebuilding process.
Mhm.
And if you're not sleeping like 7 to 8 hours, you might not be getting that optimal recovery. Like if you're consistently getting 5 hours a night or 6 hours a night, your body's going to start to underperform, and maybe you're waking up super sore, achy still.
Mm.
And what do you think about that? I mean, just in your experience, because I know you're an early riser too.
Yeah, I'm an early riser, and I know the days where I don't get a lot of sleep, you can feel it. And I know you feel it too, those of you listening right now. When you don't get sleep, you feel under recovered. Like you wake up and maybe it's just a little bit harder to get out of bed. Or you're warming up and you're doing a lift. You're like, wow, this bar feels extra heavy today. I feel heavy when I'm running. It's because your body is sending you a signal. It's like, hey, I need more rest. I need more rest. You need to sleep so I can recover. And when you don't recover, what happens is, one, you underperform. uh, Two, you increase your risk for injury, right? Because your body's pretty much telling you you're not ready, but you're gonna push through it anyway because you're a mental beast. So you have an ache or pain and you just want to push through it. And then also, I feel what happens is when you're under recovered, other things give too. Like for example, if you're not getting enough sleep and you're training 6, 7 days a week, 5, 6, 7 days a week, your immune system starts to give up a little bit too because your body is going to force you to rest, whether you get hurt, like you hurt your shoulder, oh, I can't work out, now you got to rest, or maybe you get a cold because you're under recovered. And when it comes to your sleep, getting that consistent sleep, maybe there's going to be some days throughout the week where you're not getting enough sleep, but prioritizing sleep is going to be optimal for your results. And personally, I feel I need to get more sleep sometimes. Sometimes I come home and it's like, oh, wow, it's already 10 o'clock. Oh, snap. I looked at my phone. It felt like 5 minutes. It's already 11 o'clock. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And I wake up in the morning and I feel it. So
Right. And I mean, you're waking up
it's
early,
super
so you're getting
important.
up at 3 a.m. You know, 3
Yeah.
a.m., 10 o'clock to 3 a.m. That's a quick turnover right there.
Mm-hmm,
You know,
mm-hmm.
you
But on the opposite end of the spectrum, when I get a lot of sleep, you guys, you know how you feel when you get out a lot of sleep. You get out of bed and you just feel good. You feel recovered. You go to the gym, you crush your workout. It's because you're treating your body.
right,
You put in the hard work in the gym, and now you got to treat your body and let it recover because it gave you that performance. Now you got to give it something back. You got to give it rest.
right, right. That's great. Hydration. What do you think about that? I usually get about a gallon a day, or maybe a little bit less than that. But I feel like
Mm,
just being hydrated. Like your body is made of what, 60, 70% water. Like
Right.
you need that hydration. And when you're not hydrated, you're feeling slow, you're feeling sluggish, your body's metabolism doesn't work, your functions that get your body recovering and repairing doesn't work as well.
Right.
So I mean, just basic hydration. I mean, when we get new people in the gym all the time, I'm like, oh well, how much water do you drink? Well, maybe a
They'll
few of these,
pull, they'll pull,
a few of
they'll
these
pull
little
one of these
glasses,
out and they'll be like, I drink about half of this a day.
right, right,
like a small bottle.
right. And I show them my gallon. I'm like, yeah, I got a gallon a day, and they're like, oh my god, that's so much water. And I'm like, well, yeah, it is for you right now.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm
Mm-hmm.
drinking water right now. I need that water.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, water is super important, and you should test this out. Wake up in the morning and drink a cup of water and see how good you feel after you drink
Right.
that water, right? A lot of us wake up dehydrated. Matter of fact, all of us wake up dehydrated. Your
Right.
body does so many different things while you're sleeping. It's recovering. It's processing different things. It's like metabolizing food that you ate the day before, all that kind of stuff. And you wake up and your body's like, it needs that fuel. It needs that water.
Right.
So wake up, drink a cup of water, and just tell me how good you feel after. But I drink close to a gallon. And a good goal for you is, if you're having a hard time and you have just a 16-ounce bottle or whatever you're drinking, just be like, all right, I'm going to drink 4 of these. And the easiest way to do it is just drink a whole thing after every meal, or drink a whole thing throughout your meal. Drink half of it while you're eating your meal, and then before you go to move on, you drink the other half. And it's kind of like you schedule out your water drinking versus just like, I feel like if I don't schedule it out, I will never drink it because it'll just sit there in the corner. I mean, obviously you guys are drinking water during your workouts, so that applies too throughout the water you're drinking through the day. But if you don't really schedule it, like, all right, I got to drink this. This is part of my meal, this cup of water right here. Then it's just going to be in the corner, and you're never going to get that water in. But it's going to, being hydrated feels good, and being hydrated feels terrible. Like, you ever wake up and you're sluggish and you're like, oh,
worse.
It's
And then what do you shoot for when you're tired and sluggish? You shoot for coffee, which is going to be more dehydrated.
Yeah, that caffeine.
Like, if you get up and you drink coffee, slam double amount in water. Like if you drink an 8-ounce coffee, have 20 ounces of water with it. You'll see your energy levels shoot through the roof, like drive through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
They say that also, like around your workout, drinking 30 ounces before, 30 ounces.
Your sound just kicked off real quick.
Yeah. I'm here now. You're here.
Yeah, I can hear you. So you were saying something about 30 ounces?
Yeah, 30 ounces before, 30 ounces during, 30 ounces after. That's what I'm certified through Precision Nutrition. I know you are too, Josh. And that's what their suggestion is. Heavily science-based nutrition, our coaching company, and that is definitely what is suggested. So that's another one.
This is on a different note, but for those of you that maybe you feel one of your sticking points is that you overeat, a lot of the times it's because you're dehydrated, and it kind of gives a signal to your brain that you're hungry when you're just thirsty.
Right.
So, you drink water, sometimes that'll help fill you up.
Yeah. Good points. Let's talk about some stretching. I know that, Josh, you are big on stretching, man. I know that every time I come in, you're gonna lift heavy. Like Josh just squatted 405 for 10 reps yesterday.
That was big for me. That was big for me. I've been telling John about my weekly goals. I'm like, all right, this week I got to do this. And then I was like, I hit the goal, and I'm like, next week I got to do this. I've been keeping John updated, and 405 was like, that's a big weight for me. I'm really happy about that. I'm actually really sore today. But
tell me about your warm-up routine and maybe a little bit of stretching you did before.
Yeah. So when I'm doing, first I see what I'm going to do for my workout. Like if I'm doing deadlifts, I know, okay, I'm going to have to stretch a certain muscle group, but I'll just talk about like before my squat session, I'll do basic holds. Like you don't want to do too much static stretching, and static stretching is pretty much when let's just say you're going to touch your toes and just reach down for like 30 seconds. That's static stretching. I don't like to do too much of that. There's science behind that saying, if you do too much static stretching, it's going to loosen up the muscle and you won't be as explosive. I don't really buy into that 100%. I really don't feel that a 30-second static stretch is really going to take away. It's going to, deteriorate my workout. But I like to just sit in the squat, stretch out my ankles and my hips, because I personally have the tightest ankles and tightest hips. One that just comes from I sit down, my hips are in a compressed position, my ankles are all tight. I lay, when I sleep, I'm kind of rounded over. And I feel like a lot of you have that same issue. You know, you have tight ankles, you have tight hips, just because of the daily lifestyle we live. And we're all like that. We all have that. We all have tight ankles and tight hips, unless you're blessed with Asian Asian genetics where you can squat all the way down acid grass with no problem. But
So
I
hard.
don't have that. So I sit in squats, I sit in side lunges. I go to whatever exercise that I'm doing, and I'll perform lightweight and just do slow reps where I'm sitting super deep and just making sure everything feels right. Because one of the most important things about a warm up and a stretching routine before your workout is to identify any aches or pains before you even start. So if I'm warming up and I'm like, ooh, my hip's kind of tight. All right, maybe I'm going to hop over to the foam roller and roll out my hip that feels tight so I can, make that pain go away, or at least subdue the pain just for a little bit, right? Or if I'm squatting down and my ankle feels tight, then I'll think, oh, let me find a stretch that's going to target my ankle just a little bit more, and I'll hop in a side lunge or find it. There's thousands of different stretches, but I like to keep it simple, because just like exercise, you don't want to have too much on your plate. You want to be able to focus on one thing. So I'll sit in a squat, sit in a side lunge, hop on the foam roller, and that's before my workout. Now, after my workout, or when I have a little bit more time on my hands, then that's when I'll do a whole lot of static stretching. Like I'll hold a stretch for a minute and a half, and I'll rotate 3 or 4 different stretches. So I'll sit in a squat, I'll sit in side lunges, maybe I'll touch my toes, I'll do like some butterfly stretch for my hips, and I'll just do like 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. Just like in class, how we have groups and you circuit 4 different exercises, I'll circuit 4 different stretches. And I consider that like my stretching routine. Like I said, it's just as important as your workout routine. That's my workout, but I'm just stretching. So I take it seriously, and I really make sure that I'm, giving the stretches everything I've got. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I incorporate that.
You make that good point. Like, you're very body aware, and becoming body aware is a skill. Like you said, okay, you're doing a deep squat and you see that your ankles are tight. That's body awareness right there. Like, you know your body. Like, maybe, for me, I sit down a lot during my day. Now I'm sitting at my desk, I'm doing a lot of work, so I know my hips, my knees, and my ankles are going to be tight. And maybe as I'm sitting, I'm also rounding forward like this, so my low back is going to be probably weak, and my shoulders here are probably over tight right here, because normal posture is like this, right? So knowing that, like, okay, maybe I'm a little bit tight here. Maybe I should be doing some chest stretches so I can normal out my posture. Or, if you're really tight in your chest or your hips, understanding that and being body aware, all right, maybe I got to hit those stretches before I do my lifts, so I'm getting proper posture. I'm not going to hurt myself lifting. And of course, obviously, after you hit like a chest day, you're definitely going to want to stretch out the chest, help you loosen. Because if you're hitting chest day, you're doing some reps, and then you're also sitting like this all day. You're on your computer like this. You're eating like this. Man, you are going to get an anterior delt injury or a chest tear or whatever. So making sure that you're doing some stretches that gets you in that other range, that mobility is going to be crucial for you.
Yeah, and I also feel when you talked about how all of us are in that rounded position. There's not one person who isn't sitting down and they have perfect posture. Matter of fact, you guys have you seen that like weird that necklace that sits on the back of your neck, and whenever you have bad posture, it like vibrates.
Oh, it like pulls you back.
Yeah, something like they're even inventing things to try to fix this issue, but that's just in my opinion, that's just a gimmick, right? Just work on your posture through other ways that are gonna be good habits versus just putting on whatever. That's
it's the Band-Aid. It's the Band-Aid, not the recovery method.
Exactly. So when you stretch out your chest, the front of your body, it even helps you work your back better. Because some of you, when you train back, even though let me try to show you, even though you're doing back, you're still rounded forward. So you're rowing, but you're still doing this rounded forward. Your shoulders are rolling forward, and you have a really hard time pulling your shoulders back and opening up your chest, right? Which is the basics for being able to activate your back muscles, like keeping that chest up and pulling those shoulder blades back. So doing stretches are going to help loosen up your chest, like loosen up your pec, loosen up your shoulders. So when you do those other exercises, right, you don't feel limited, right?
Right.
So that, like we said, that could be done before your workout or after. Like if you hit chest day or shoulder day, the next day, or even that night, that same day, you can hit a few of those stretches. And then the next day, you're going to feel so much looser, and you're even going to feel less sore. You're going to feel less sore when you attack some of these stretches after your workout.
Right. So stretching, stretching, what stretching does is how does stretching work? Stretching lengthens the muscle. It puts a lot of tension in the muscle. And what that does, there's little sensors in the muscle that understand that it's being stretched. And what that does is it physically relaxes the muscle group.
Right.
That's why it's so important. Like, okay, if I'm super tight here, I'm going to stretch to the point of tension, not overstretching it to where you're ripping the muscle, but stretching it. And there's a sensor in there. It's called the Golgi tendon organ, the GTO. Don't worry about the name. And it senses that pressure, and it's a safety mechanism. It doesn't want your muscle to rip.
Yeah.
But what it does is it relaxes that muscle. So gradually over time, instead of being here, you're here, and then you're here, and then all of a sudden you have somewhat normal posture over months of that stretching. That's an important thing.
Yeah. So they call that autogenic inhibition. Pretty much
autogenic inhibition.
And pretty much what happens is your body has a bunch of defense mechanisms when you're doing stretches. Are you still there, John?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, cool. So pretty much your body has a bunch of defense mechanisms. So imagine if your body doesn't know that you're stretching, right? When you're sore and you're kind of, it's tight, and you do a pec stretch, your body thinks, oh, someone's trying to rip off my arm right now. So it sends a signal to your brain, and your body locks up because it doesn't want it to stretch past a certain point for you to get injured, right? It's going to stop you before you can hurt yourself, right? So what happens is when you hold a stretch, you all feel that little signal in your brain that goes, oh, please don't stretch anymore, just stop, and you lock up. You've got to wait out that, it's like 15 seconds, something like that. You hold that stretch, and then you get kind of loose. You're able to relax, and then you can really stretch it further, right? Because your body's like, oh, okay, Josh isn't trying to tear his shoulder off right now. He wants us to relax. So your body's going to relax and let you sit deep into that stretch. And I think a lot of us actually don't push the stretch long enough to even get to that point. Like you might be super sore on your legs, and you sit down in a squat, and your body's like, get out of the squat. It hurts too much. And you may sit down for 20 seconds, and that's too short of a period for you to really lengthen the muscle and give yourself enough time for your body to relax and sit in that squat properly so you can get the benefits of stretching. A lot of us just do it quick. Like you may be in the gym, and you may be one of those people, you go stretch your chest 10 seconds, and you're like, okay, cool, I'm good. You might stretch another 10 seconds, and then you start your workout. But when we say stretching for recovery, you need to spend like 10, 15 minutes just on your upper body. I mean, even more, but you got to also weigh how much time you want to invest in stretching. So you really want to just pick where you have to kind of, like John said, be body aware and find out where you're the tightest, right? Like if it's your ankles, if it's your hips, if it's your shoulders, and then you can build a routine around what is tight on your body. So when you go to the gym, you're like, all right, cool. I know it's chest day and I have really tight shoulders. Let me go stretch my chest and foam roll out this area for 10 minutes. So you're more targeted and you're not wasting your time versus like, all right, I don't really know what to stretch. I'm going to stretch my whole entire body, literally every single muscle.
No way.
And I feel like, I mean, at least I feel this way. That's like overwhelming. I don't want to sit down and stretch for an hour and a half. I just don't have the time. Right. You have to find out what's tight on you and attack that for, 10, 15 minutes here and there.
So what do you think are the most tight muscles? I think that the chest, the shoulders, the hips, and the calves are usually pretty tight. That's just my opinion. What do you think? What do you think are some tight areas?
100%. Hamstring tightness, that's one for a lot of people. Tight hamstrings. I mean, you already said the hips, so I'll just give you something different. Tight hamstrings, tight ankles. But guys, tight ankles comes from tight calves. Like not just the ankle, right? The joint is tight, but that's coming from the actual the muscularity in your calf that's super tight. Like just as a test, go dig your thumbs into your calf all over the place, right? You're gonna find a lot of tender spots. Or if any of you have hopped on a foam roller and you foam roll your calf, that's like some of the worst. That's like some of the worst pain you could feel right there, foam rolling out your calf. So if you've got tight ankles, you've got to address your calf.
Yeah.
Right. If you've got tight hips, it's not just the front of your hip. Your whole entire hip complex may be tight, and that goes into your hip flexor, right? Your IT band is even a part of that. Your glutes are a part of that. So foam rolling that whole entire area is is going to be beneficial, and also stretching those areas.
So foam rolling. So we talked about stretching and foam rolling.
Mm.
Now the foam rolling is a little bit different than the stretching, right? You're
Right.
putting all that pressure on one certain part of the muscle. You're not just stretching the whole muscle. Now you're digging into one part of the muscle. Like imagine that you've got this knot in your leg, and it's like here's the whole muscle, and here's this knot in the leg, and you
Yep.
know that knot is right where all the pain is. And the foam rolling is you're gonna roll over that foam roller, you're gonna feel like a sharp pain, like right on that knot, and
Mm-hmm.
that's gonna dig right into it, and then eventually that knot releases, and that's an important distinction because stretching will make the knot. Imagine like the knot tighter. Like
Mm-hmm.
imagine stretching a knot in a rope. Like you pull it away, it's gonna make it tighter. What that foam roller does and how it's different, or what the massage gun does, is it breaks that knot up so it releases, so that now you don't have knots and because those knots are a really nasty
Mm-hmm.
part of tension. So, what do you think? Would you suggest foam rolling before and then stretching, or what do you like to do?
I like to. I actually, I'm the opposite of that. I like to do my before workout. I like to do my stretching first, and then I foam roll just briefly because, like I said, I don't want to invest too much time before my workout warming up, right? But I don't know if I hit this. When I warm up, you've got to incorporate a lot of dynamic stretching too. So we talked about static stretching. Static stretching is when you hold a pose. You're touching your toes and you're holding it. You sit in a squat and you're holding it, whatever exercise you want to do. Dynamic stretching is when you're moving throughout a range of motion. So maybe you're not holding and touching your toes, but you're touching your toes, then you're standing back up. And then you reach back down and touch your toes and go deeper, then you're standing back up. You're actually doing squats and getting a deeper range of motion versus just sitting in the squat. That's
Got it.
dynamic stretching. So you want to incorporate dynamic stretching while you're warming up, which we already have that in the fitness forward warm up, right? We're not just holding stretches. We're going through a range of motion, different
Right.
movements, right, to activate the muscles we want to activate. And then after that, I would hop on a foam roller. Now I work out on my own time, right? I'm not on a class schedule time. So if you want to do that kind of stuff, coming 5-10 minutes before class, so you could do that, right?
Right.
I would do a warm up, a dynamic type of warm up, a little bit of static, like a little bit of holds, like after I've done that. And then I would hop on the foam roller just briefly. And like I said, I know exactly where I'm tight. So I know I need to attack my hips and my
Good
ankles
point.
if it's squat day, right?
Right. Good
So,
point.
and then I go right into it. So I'm not wasting any time. I know exactly what I need to hit, right?
Uh-huh.
But for with foam rolling too, we talked about how when you stretch, you're not holding it long enough, so you're not really getting the benefits of stretching. Same thing with foam rolling.
Right.
There's a pain barrier in foam rolling that you have to get over, right?
Totally.
You may feel like you get close to the spot on your on your hip, or one spot that hurts a lot is your IT band, like the whole entire side of your leg. You go on it, and it's literally like you're on a rock, and it starts hurting like
Oh,
crazy.
so
you
painful.
you want to be able to take that pain, but what happens is you don't want to get a 10 out of 10 pain scale when you're doing it. What you want to do is get close to that spot that's hurting you. Stay close, and if this is the rock that you're on, right? If this is the foam roll and you're going over that tight spot, you want to get close to it and kind of feel around that area and make sure it doesn't hurt too much, because you don't want a 10 out of 10, and then you're going to get onto the rock and it's going to hurt, and you want to stay there. You want to stay there and loosen up that knot. You don't want to go there and then, all right, I'm done, right?
Yeah.
And then you come back, and then you're done, right?
It's like grabbing onto a hot piece of coal. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to make sure you are attacking that area in foam rolling. That's like, you can do sets of like 45 seconds to a minute on whatever area. And I would do sets of that, just like an exercise. You're going to do,
Yeah.
1 minute black, 1 minute blue. All right, I'm going to do 1 minute hip foam rolling, and then I'm going to go 1 minute glute foam rolling. And I'm just going to make it a circuit. I'm going to do 1 minute glutes, 1 minute hips, 1 minute ankles or
Nice.
calves. You know
I
what
like
I'm
that.
saying?
It's a good suggestion.
So it's like a workout. I put together a stretching routine or a foam rolling routine, and I just hit that 10 minutes, 15 minutes here, 10 minutes there.
Nice. What do you think about the massage guns? I love those things.
Yeah, I love massage guns. It's just so much easier than using a foam roller, because a foam roller, you have to be you're like holding yourself up on the foam roller, and I actually get kind of tired sometimes, like holding yourself up on your hands, like you're on like you're doing like a side plank in your core. You're like getting tired. I'm like sweating.
You're working your core muscles. It's a workout,
and it hurts. Like it's actually painful. So it's like there's more factors you have to worry about. Like maybe you're super overweight and it's hard for you to hold yourself up on the foam roller with one arm, or
Right.
you can't really get into the positions you want to get into, or it's just too much weight on whatever muscle that you're foam rolling, right? Like if you're super heavy and you're rolling at your IT band, that's a lot of pressure on that one that one muscle. So that's why
Seriously.
the massage gun is beneficial, because you can take the massage gun, you can go sit in a chair, you can kick back, you can do it while you're walking, massage your chest. It's going to give you the same benefit, except there's not as many factors that you have to worry about. All you have to do is click a button, and you just click the gun, you can put it on auto, and you just hold it there, and you can just literally close your eyes and hold it there and move it around your leg. So that's why I like the massage gun, because it just makes things way more simpler.
Feels so good. Feels so good. It makes getting like the foot and the ankle. Like I run a lot, and my foot, ankle, and calf gets so tight. So that's like the perfect way. I massage gun like the bottom of my foot, like right on all that soft tissue.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it feels so great. One of my faves.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of odd, we should talk about some odd areas that people don't really target, and one of them is the bottom of your feet.
Bottom of the feet,
Right, your
feels
bottom
so
of your
good.
feet, especially if you do a lot of running. Like, there's a lot of I have a lot of knots on the bottom of my feet that I never address. But
Right,
what
the
happens is,
elbow joints,
yeah, like
around those
elbow joint.
tendons.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like right on the shoulder, like
Yeah,
right
your
around the shoulder
forearms,
capsule. Oh, it
like your
feels so
forearms.
good.
Think about how many, like, you grip things. You're always gripping, but you never really stretch out. Like,
Right,
take your fingers, straighten them out, and then pull them back, and feel how tight it is in the bottom of your forearm, and also on the side over here, right by your
right,
elbow. A lot of tight areas, and in those miscellaneous areas are ones that you can target on your own time. Like, you could literally be sitting in your office and just go like this and get a
right,
stretch, right? Just take 45
right.
seconds, or dig your thumb in for 30
Dig
seconds
your
while you're
thumb
just
into
sitting
those
there.
elbows. Oh, it
Or
feels so good.
if you want to massage your feet, you're sitting at the office. Maybe people will look at you weird, but they're not about this. They're not about this life like you are. You can literally like put a ball on your foot and roll out your foot, or get a lacrosse ball. I actually saw this one. I forget who I was watching. Have you heard of Kelly Starrett?
No, I have not.
The Supple Leopard. He has a book. It's like a
Oh, yeah. Okay.
yeah. He like has a method where he takes a lacrosse ball, like a small one, and if he's sitting down, he'll put the lacrosse ball behind him, like on his butt, like at the top of his glute, and he'll massage it out while he's sitting. Right, so
Oh,
it's like you can kind of knock out two birds with one stone. Like, you're getting your work done, but you're also getting some of your soft tissue work.
nice,
Yeah,
nice. So that's good, man. All those methods are great ways of recovery. Like if you're sore, even preventative injury. What do we talk
mm-hmm.
about? We talk about getting enough sleep, staying
Mm-hmm.
hydrated, foam rolling here and there on the muscles that are tight,
Right.
massaging, stretching out. Anything else that you can think of?
That pretty much nails it.
Yeah.
But
What do you?
also, all this stretching mobility work is going to help all your lifts too. So
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
only are you going to prevent injury, and you're going to make sure you're addressing some of the things from your past workout, right? Because
Right.
you guys are working hard in the gym, right? You're breaking down your bodies. When you work out, you're literally tearing down the muscle. Every time you do a row or a press, think about here's the analogy. Okay, so think about a wall. Your muscles are a wall, and you've got a bunch of I've got a bunch of little Joshes inside, like in my body. A bunch of little Joshes. They're running around with hammers and wrenches and screwdrivers, right? They're every time there's a group of Joshes that are breaking down the wall. That's my workout. And there's another group of Joshes, like this group of Joshes are wearing red shirts, and this group of Joshes is wearing green shirts, right? The red shirts are breaking down the wall, and then you have the green shirts that are putting back up the wall. And that process is happening continuously. You've got
Nice.
yourself breaking down the wall. That's your workout, right? And then you've got the other side building the wall, and that's your sleep. That's your stretching. That's your hydration. That's your recovery, right? And
Right.
they're both doing it at different speeds throughout your entire day. So the wall is built and being destroyed at the same exact time. Now, a lot of us are only destroying the wall, and you don't have enough staff. It's it's coronavirus. We're on lockdown. People just got laid off in the green group. You've got the manager. He's doing extra hours. He's not used to being on the floor. He's never used a hammer in his
No.
life. He only knows how to tell people what to do. Right? He finally has to put a hammer in his hand, and he can't build the wall fast enough. So what happens is the wall is getting broken down too fast, and then you get injured. Oh,
Right.
shit. I hurt my
Right.
back. There wasn't enough recovery going on in my life. I hurt my back.
Yeah.
Now I can't even lift. Right? And then when you're when you're out of the gym, then the green guys are forced to recover. They have to build the wall back up, right? But the red guys are still destroying it. They're always destroying it.
Yeah, you don't want to crumble down wall.
Exactly. You don't want, yeah, you've got to have a strong wall, man.
Right. And you know what? It starts with at least small steps. Like if you got no green guys building your wall back up, at least hire one green guy, which means do 5 minutes of stretching.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Start
He's
with
cheap.
one guy.
He's cheap.
He's cheap.
He's like the guys in front of Home Depot that are just looking for some work.
Right,
Like,
man.
put them on your
Give him some
truck.
work. Give him some work. Just start with one
Work.
muscle. In other words, okay, your chest is tight. Stretch that one muscle out every day for 2 minutes. That's it. And then maybe next week you get to hire another guy. Okay, you get your chest muscle, you got your calf muscle. You stretch them out for 4 minutes. That's it. It's about,
and now listen. Now you're a small business.
right.
Now you're getting stretching in, and you can bring on the IT guy, and the IT guy he's foam rolling.
That's such a good analogy. I love that.
Yeah, the IT guy's foam rolling, and then
right.
What else are we forgetting?
Massage, got formulate, and what? Eating a healthy amount of protein to help you recover to your muscles.
Mm-hmm.
Eating a good amount. You're not under eating all the time. You're not malnourished. So I mean, overall, we're talking about just being healthy. Basic stretches. Starting to understand your body. Start drinking a little bit more water.
Yeah.
Maybe sleep an extra 30 minutes a day.
Right.
Or try to go to bed a little bit earlier, and then obviously you're eating properly. You're eating good foods. You're not eating processed junk food. You're not waking up or eating Doritos in the morning, even though those are delicious.
Oh, I love Doritos. Yeah, so I think get at least to start. If you're not doing any stretching, you're doing zero stretching, right? I suggest for lower body you can do these two things. You can sit in a squat for, let's just say, 30 seconds at a time, right? Accumulate 2-3 minutes of squatting. Right, sit in a squat for 2-3 minutes a day, and sit in a side lunge each side 2 to 3 minutes a day. Right, and that's where you should start.
Right.
If you're not drinking any water, start drinking a cup or 2 cups a day. Just start off small. Right? If you're not drinking any water, then just start out small. There's no point on trying to just, all right, John and Josh said I need to get a gallon. I'm going to start getting a gallon tomorrow. I've never drinking any water in my life.
Right.
Right.
Well, we're both, Josh and I are both about small progress forward. Taking your fitness forward, small progress. Taking your nutrition forward, small progress. Take your stretching forward, just small progress, little steps every day. It's not about trying to do it all at once, because it'll never happen. So just like Josh says, start off small. Start stretching out, 2-3 minutes. 2-3 times a week. That's it. You're not trying to do like an hour like he's doing, 30 minutes here, 30 minutes there. That's too long for the average guy. Josh has been stretching out for years, and you can't compare yourself to an athlete like that. Some of you guys don't have time to stretch out for that long. Some of you guys are only working out 30 minutes a day. That's all you got. Great. So try to stretch out a couple minutes a day. That's it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I promise you, you're gonna feel so much better when you hit this stretching routine, mobility routine, when you're incorporating foam rolling, right? When you're actually hydrated, it's gonna be a night and day difference when you get more sleep. You're gonna be able to hit your workouts harder. You're gonna be able to hit work harder, right? You're gonna feel better. Your energy levels are gonna be higher. Your mood's gonna be better, right? You're gonna be a better leader because you feel better. It's just a trickle down effect. It's gonna improve literally every aspect of your life. So start out small. Right. Make sure you're getting these things in. If you have any questions, right, hit up John or I, and we'll give you stretches to do. Right. If you're saying, oh, my hip's tight, right, that's what we're here for. We know we have the recipe for you. Right. All you got to do is apply it. So I've seen a lot of people in class actually starting to come a little bit earlier, and they're getting some foam rolling, some stretching in. And those are the strongest people in the gym right there. Right.
True.
All the strongest people in the gym are coming early, and they're taking care of their bodies.
Right.
And that's the name of the game.
Right. Not only that, they're stronger, but they're less prone to injury, and they've got less achiness. Like that's the name of the game. Is you want to get fitter and you want to prevent injury and prevent achiness. Awesome. Thanks, guys, for listening. Awesome, Josh. You're great to talk to as always. You're very knowledgeable. And if you guys have any other questions, hit us up, and we will see you next week for our show.
Yes, sir. Thank you for tuning in. J Talk.
J Talk, baby.
Peace.